When your parrot bites you, what's the first thing you feel? Pain, yes. Maybe shock. Maybe even a little hurt that the bird you love just did that to you. But here's what almost every parrot owner gets completely wrong. That bite wasn't aggression. It wasn't random. It wasn't your parrot turning on you. It was a message. And if you keep misreading it, which most owners do, you'll keep making the same mistake that slowly damages the one thing your parrot needs most from you. Let's talk about what that bite is actually saying. 1. Your parrot already warned you. You just didn't see it. Most owners think a bite comes out of nowhere. 1 second, everything is fine. The next second, there are teeth marks on your finger. But here's the truth. Your parrot almost never bites without warning first. The warning is just in a language most people never learn to read. Before a bite, your parrot is already telling you something is wrong. Their feathers go tight and flat against their body. Their eyes pin, the pupils rapidly shrinking and expanding. They might lean away from you, shift their weight, or turn their head. These are not random movements. These are sentences. Full, clear sentences that say, I am uncomfortable. Please stop. I need a moment. Wild parrots almost never bite each other. Field researchers who have spent decades studying parrots in the wild report that actual biting between flock members is extremely rare. In the wild, parrots use body language, feather position, and vocalizations to handle conflict. The bite is a last resort. It only becomes a first response when every other signal has been ignored. So when your parrot bites you, the real question isn't what did they do wrong. The question is, how many warnings did you miss? 2. It's not aggression. It's a boundary. Here's something that might completely change how you see your bird. Biting is not your parrot being mean. It is your parrot communicating the only way left to them in that moment. Think about it this way. Imagine you keep tapping someone on the shoulder. They shift away. You tap again. They say no quietly. You tap again. Eventually, they grab your hand. That grab wasn't anger. That was the last available option after everything else failed. That's exactly what a bite is. Experts in parrot behavior describe biting as a last line of communication. Your parrot doesn't want to bite you. Biting costs them something too. It breaks the moment. It creates tension. But when they feel they have no other choice, when they're overstimulated or scared or just done, the bite is how they finally make themselves understood. This is actually one of the most important things parrot owners learn. Once you understand that a bite means I had something to say and you didn't hear me, everything changes. You stop reacting with hurt or anger. You start asking, what was my bird trying to tell me, and where did I miss it? And by the way, if you've been watching and this is starting to make sense, hit subscribe. We talk about parrots this way every single week. The real stuff, the deep stuff, the things most owners wish someone had told them sooner. 3. Sometimes the bite isn't about you at all. You're sitting quietly. Your parrot has been on your shoulder for 20 minutes. Everything feels fine. Then out of nowhere, a bite on the ear. What did you do? Possibly nothing. Because sometimes a bite has absolutely nothing to do with you or anything you did in that moment. Parrots feel overstimulation the way we feel being overwhelmed at a loud party. At first, they're fine. Then things start to build. Too much noise, too much touch, too much stimulation. And there's no polite way to excuse themselves. Their nervous system reaches a limit, and the bite is the release valve. This is especially common during what's called a petting session that went just a little too long. Your parrot was enjoying it. Then they weren't. And instead of understanding the shift, most owners keep going because their bird seemed happy a moment ago. By the time the bite happens, your parrot has been asking you to stop for a while. Watch for the tail. A slowly fanning tail, or fast repeated flicks, often signals that your bird is approaching their limit. Watch for the eyes. Watch for any small body shift away from your hand. These microsignals are your parrot asking for a pause before the situation reaches the point of no return. 4. Fear bites feel different, and they mean something serious. Not all bites are the same, and learning to tell them apart is one of the most useful things a parrot owner can do. There is the boundary bite. It's sharp and quick. It says stop. Then there is the fear bite, and the fear bite is different in a way you can feel. A fear bite often comes from a parrot that is pressed back, body low, breathing fast. Their whole posture is saying, I am trapped and terrified. These bites tend to be harder and they hold on. Because in that moment, your parrot isn't trying to communicate. They're trying to survive. Their instincts have taken over completely. Fear biting is most common in new birds who haven't yet learned you're safe, in birds who have had bad experiences with hands in the past, or in birds who've been startled by something sudden. A fast movement toward the face. A loud noise from nowhere. Even a new haircut or a hat can genuinely alarm a parrot who is sensitive to changes in the people they know. Here's what most owners get wrong in that moment. They react. They pull back sharply, raise their voice, or worse, they push through and force the interaction anyway. All of that teaches your parrot one thing, that the fear was justified, that they were right to bite, and the next time will come faster. 5. Your parrot might be biting because of something inside their body, not their mood. This one surprises most people, and it's something every parrot owner needs to understand. Sometimes a parrot who has never bitten before suddenly starts biting. The same bird, the same routine, nothing obvious has changed, and the owner is baffled. Here's what might actually be happening. Parrots go through hormonal cycles. In the spring especially, longer daylight hours trigger breeding instincts that your parrot has zero control over. Their entire body chemistry shifts. The gentlest bird can suddenly become unpredictable, territorial, and yes, bitey. This isn't a personality change. It's biology running a program your parrot didn't choose to install. There's also pain. A parrot who is hurting will bite when touched near the area of discomfort. Pin feathers, which are new feathers still growing in, are incredibly sensitive. One accidental brush against a pin feather can cause a bite that seems completely unprovoked. So can an internal illness that hasn't shown any visible signs yet. If your parrot's biting has changed suddenly and nothing in their environment explains it, don't assume it's behavioral. A visit to an avian vet is worth considering, because sometimes the message your parrot is sending isn't "I'm upset with you." It's "something hurts and I don't know how else to tell you." 6. You may have accidentally taught your parrot that biting works. This one is hard to hear, but it's one of the most common reasons biting becomes a lasting problem. Here's how it usually starts. Your parrot gives a small nip. Maybe it barely registers. You move your hand away. Normal reaction. Completely understandable. But your parrot just learned something. Biting made the thing they didn't want go away. That's a powerful lesson. And parrots are extraordinarily intelligent animals. They remember what works. So the next time they want to end an interaction or avoid something uncomfortable, the nip comes back. And it works again. Over weeks and months. Without anyone intending it, the biting becomes a habit, because it has been the most reliable way for them to have any control over what happens to them. This is why behavior experts emphasize that how you respond to a bite matters just as much as the bite itself. Dramatic reactions, pulling away sharply, making a huge sound, even accidentally laughing, all of these can reinforce the behavior in different ways. The goal is a calm, quiet response. Set the bird down. Take a breath. And then think backwards. What was happening right before that bite? And what was your parrot actually trying to say? 7. When biting suddenly gets worse, listen very carefully. There's a version of this that we haven't talked about yet, and it's the one that matters most. What happens when a parrot who has always been gentle, who has trusted you for years, suddenly becomes a bird that bites regularly? Not because of hormones, not because of one overstimulated afternoon, but a real, sustained change in behavior. Don't ignore it. Parrots are deeply sensitive animals. They are, on the same scale of social complexity as dolphins, elephants, and primates, creatures who are fundamentally wired for connection. When something breaks in that connection, they feel it completely. Sometimes the change is environmental. A new pet in the home, a family member who moved away, a shift in your schedule that means your parrot now spends long hours alone. What feels like a small change to you can feel like an earthquake to a bird whose entire world is the walls of your home and the rhythm of your presence. Sometimes the change is relational. If trust has been broken through a frightening experience, a rough handling, or even a period of neglect that wasn't intentional, your parrot may withdraw from closeness and use biting as a wall to keep you at a distance. They're not punishing you. They're protecting themselves. And sometimes, it's a health issue that has been quietly building. Biting that escalates alongside other changes, like fluffed feathers, changes in droppings, or a quieter than normal bird, should always prompt a vet visit. The key is this. When biting gets worse without a clear reason, your parrot is not becoming a bad bird. They are becoming a bird who desperately needs something to change. Your job isn't to stop the biting first. Your job is to find out what they need, because that's what they've been asking for all along. What to do instead of reacting. So you've been bitten. What now? First, don't punish. Hitting, flicking the beak, shouting. These responses don't teach your parrot what you want them to do. They teach your parrot that your hands are dangerous. And that makes everything worse. Second, stay calm. Your parrot reads your energy. If your reaction to a bite is panic or anger, your bird absorbs that. The moment becomes charged. Calmly set them down, walk away for a minute, let the situation reset. Third, think backwards. What was happening in the 30 seconds before the bite? Were they giving signals you missed? Were they overstimulated? Were they in their cage when you reached in, triggering a territorial response? Every bite has a before. Learn the before, and you prevent the next one. And finally, rebuild slowly. If biting has become frequent, trust needs to be rebuilt the same way it was built in the first place. Slowly, patiently, on your parrot's terms. Short positive interactions. No forced handling. Let them choose to come to you. Because a parrot who chooses you, who walks across a room and steps onto your hand because they want to, that is the relationship this animal is capable of. And it is extraordinary. Your parrot has never bitten you to hurt you. Every single time, there was something behind it. Fear, overstimulation, pain, a boundary crossed one too many times, a message sent over and over that never got a response. The bite was never the problem. The bite was the solution your parrot found when everything else failed. Now you know what they were trying to say. So the next time it happens, and it might, don't just treat the wound and move on. Sit with it. Ask what you missed. Because the moment you start hearing what your parrot is actually saying, everything between you changes. And that bird, the one who just bit you, is waiting to show you exactly how good things can get.